Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode of the Weekly Compass, we're going to take a look at the energies and the numerology for the week of March 29th through April 4th. This is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I also want to mention that April's forecast for each life path number are up now on my YouTube channel and my podcast. So check them out if you haven't already. Okay, so excuse me. So we start this week off with 29 energy, but that breaks down to 11-2 energy. And 11-2 energy is another master level energy coming in hot this week. Last week we had master level 22-4 energy, and that energy was very potent. I don't know if you all felt it, but there was a lot going on around the world last week. So this 11-2 energy, it can ask us to find what inspires us and to nurture whatever that is. So any action taken during this cycle should be inspired action that feels authentic and true to our inner self and values. So try to use this 11-2 energy at the beginning of the week as a checkpoint. Make sure that what you continue to show up to, your relationships, your job, your place of living, whatever the case may be, make sure that what you continue to show up to, you actually enjoy showing up to, and that you feel inspired by it, okay? Things that suppress this energy, you could find falling away now. So it's like if you have a job that you go to and you literally dread getting up in the morning, forcing yourself out the door, and you just see yourself watching the clock, that is no way to spend your life here, okay? It's like, yes, we have to do the things we have to do until we can do the things we want to do sometimes. But if you are in a situation, and that includes relationships, anything, where you are just, on autopilot and showing up, and there's no fire, there's no inspiration, there's no joy, that's a red flag. That's the universe, your soul screaming at you, being like, we need to make a change here. Yes, that change might not be easy. It might not be immediate, but something needs to change. And so you may find during this 11-2 energy at the beginning of the week that you get a pretty good idea, or, it's highlighted pretty blatantly what that is. So again, if this is relevant for you, it's probably already resonating. And I'm just literally seeing somebody like sitting in a gray, dingy office, staring at the clock, just hating life because they're spending majority of their time doing something that kills their spirit. Okay, so this is going to be a time for that reflection. And same thing with a relationship. If you're just in it because it's comfortable and it's like, it's what's known, but there's no joy there. There's no fulfillment. There's no, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm talking about. If that is you, if you're in that situation, then I feel like this master level energy is going to really nudge you in a way to be like, to ask yourself, is this what I want to continue doing for the rest of my life? Or do I need to make some changes here? Understanding that it's master level energy, so those changes won't always be easy, but they will be for your highest expression, for your greater good, and it's worth pursuing. Okay? Then as we move into the end of the week, I can't believe we're already at April, but here we are. As we move into the latter part of the week, we hit this 4 energy. And 4 energy can bring into focus all things practical. So 4 energy is really when it's in alignment, it's really a beautiful balance between the intuition and the physical. But a lot of times when we see our challenges come up in this cycle, it's very practical to kind of show us what needs to, what foundations need to be broken to rebuild, and so that we're moving forward in a much more sustainable way. And I kind of get that energy a little bit with this 4 cycle coming up. It's like asking us to look at the more practical things within our lives. And this is going to be a time where we need to be very methodical with our actions. So no skipping steps during a 4 cycle. That's really key. During a 4 cycle, it's like if you're like, oh, I just want to get from point A to Z in the most, minimal amount of time. You can probably do that. You can probably find a way to do that, but chances are you're going to be revisiting whatever it is that you skip the steps on. That's just 4 energy. It's like 4 is going to make sure that things are done right the first time type thing. And if it's not, then you're going to have to go back and make sure that it's done right the next time. So you'll just kind of start repeating those patterns. So no skipping steps during this 4 cycle. And another key ingredient here is patience. Patience during this cycle is going to be key. You may feel at this time that your patience is being tested at an all-time high during this cycle. So you're going to need to find ways to manage that experience in a way that doesn't sort of derail you, right? It's like sometimes, we're like, oh, I'm going to give up on this because the universe doesn't work on my timeline. And, that's great. But again, chances are you're going to revisit whatever it is if you just are like, okay, I don't have patience for this, so I'm giving up on it. If it's meant to be, you're going to be revisiting it. You're going to be, find yourself back in the same situation. So it's best to find ways to, again, pack your patience and move through the energy, understanding that there are things at play that you just can't see right now, that you're not meant to see right now. Okay, and things will show themselves when the time is right. So patience is going to be key at this time. If things start to fall away during this 4 cycle for you, allow them to leave without interference. 4 energy has a way of clearing the clutter to lighten the load of our journey, okay? It's like with 4 energy, it's going to be sure that where you're headed with the resources and the tools and the relationships that are going to serve you on that journey. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say if something's trying to fall away at this time, allow it to fall away without interference. Okay, so let's take a look at the energy for the week ahead. So at the beginning of the week, I'm definitely seeing that 11-2 energy. It's interesting because it's like you have an opportunity to be really carefree and excited and, start something new. If something's been kind of dull and gray in your life, it's like you have an opportunity to add some vibrant color at this time. And with that vibrancy, it's like it ignites the fire from within. It ignites the passion from within. It brings you joy. It brings you fulfillment. All of these things. And all of these things are at your reach. But in order to sort of attain that, you have to, again, take a closer look at those things where you are just on autopilot and showing up and you're not enjoying the process. Again, there are some things that we have to move through and go through and experience that we don't like, right? I understand that. And the universe understands that. That's part of learning and growth and expansion. But this is one of those things where it's like you're really being asked to take a closer look at the things where you are consciously and adamantly with intention saying yes to that is not serving you, that is bringing you down, that is defeating you, that is just making you feel deflated. You're going to know what this is if this is relevant for you, but those are the things at this time where it's like you need to make some kind of a change. You need to give yourself permission to do the things and to shift in a direction that actually brings you fulfillment, that feels joyful for you and brings passion into your life, okay? So I see potentially, like, if you're willing to say yes to this, I feel like there's going to be opportunities at this time to say yes to it. So it might be like if you've been in a job for 20 years and you absolutely hate it, and you become a clock watcher, just waiting, to leave type thing, I feel like you're going to have an opportunity at this time to shift in a way that allows you to begin to explore something different. Okay, it might not be that you up and leave that job this week, but it might be that something catches your eye, catches your attention, and you explore that to the point where you're like, okay, I can see myself doing this, and there's no way I can go back to this 9 to 5 that is just, sucking my soul dry. So I feel like there could be some opportunities at this time where you're going to get a taste of something that ignites your spirit. And then it's going to be up to you what you choose to do with that ignition. So it's like, are you going to be like, oh man, yes, I can't say no to this. I have to absolutely go for this. Or are you going to be like, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm just too scared to take this leap of faith. So I feel like all this is going to kind of be percolating at this time. And again, it's not necessarily something where you're going to jump right into, but it might be something where you're like, I'm going to explore this. And then I think once you start that exploration, it's going to be hard to go back. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Or once you feel it, you can't unfeel it, right? It's like once your soul becomes alive, it's real hard to go back to that, that just boring, lifeless experience. Okay. So that's not going to be for everybody, but I do feel like that's going to be coming in pretty strongly for those who are continuing to show up to the things that they're just showing up for out of habit or out of obligation or whatever the case may be. But I feel like that's going to come in pretty strongly. And with it being master energy, it's going to be pretty persistent. So I don't feel like once it comes in for you, you're going to really be able to ignore it. Or you can ignore it and continue to try to avoid it, but it's going to keep coming in. Then we move into midweek, and it's interesting because I have sort of this more challenging energy midweek. It really kind of feels more internal. It feels sort of like throwing yourself into victim mode a little bit, or being like, woe is me, why is this happening to me? Or why isn't this happening for me? Kind of like that, looking to the external to bring you your joy, to bring you your happiness. I'm seeing like, again, it's kind of like this energy of where if you don't shift your perspective midweek, and if you continue to sort of allow yourself to feel like the world owes you, or that you are entitled for other people to bring you what you need, as opposed to going within, feeling into what you need, and then going after it type thing. I feel like this energy could bring you a lot of frustration, some heartache, some feeling like the world is out to get you type thing, or the universe is out to get you, when in reality, when those things come up for us, a lot of times it's a messenger for us to look within, for us to see, okay, I'm clearly not going to get this from the external, so I need to create it. I need to find it from within. And then once I've created it or found it from within, I can continue to tap into that when things get challenging, when things become difficult, right? And so it might be that at the beginning of the week, you recognize the relationship that you're in is not a relationship that's really serving you, and you need to make a change. And that can be challenging, and you might go into this mode of, why can't this person be what I need them to be? Start blaming the external, start looking to the external. And this is going to be a time where if you do that, if you continue to focus on that, it's only going to make the situation much more uncomfortable for you, and it's going to bring you additional heartache and frustration. So again, midweek is really going to be that energy of, if you're looking to the external to fulfill you, if you're looking for someone or something to bring you your happiness, your joy, your whatever the case may be, you're going to be disappointed, okay? And so yes, the external is a resource, okay? It is meant to assist us on our journey. It's meant to, again, be that support system. It's not meant to be the be-all, end-all. That is meant to come from within, and it's going to be unique for every single one of us. So midweek, you may find to be a little emotionally challenging, but the key is, and again, the message is, go within. try to find that happiness, that joy, that shift in perspective from within, okay? Then we move to the end of the week. And what's interesting is I'm really getting this energy, which is very 4 energy, of life is a journey of catch and release, okay? So it's like things will come in and then we are asked to release them. They'll come in and then we're asked to release them. And it's kind of like sometimes our greatest struggle comes with the releasing, okay? And so I feel like with this energy, it's like, well, let me go back. So it's kind of like if we were just constantly in catch phase, right? Where we're just constantly bringing things in, there is no way that that is sustainable, right? It's like, it's an ebb and a flow. Like we have to catch, allow the things to come in and then release them when they no longer serve us, when that part of our journey has completed. This can be about relationships, jobs, resources, belief systems, values, whatever the case may be. It's like things will come in, they will serve their purpose, and then oftentimes they're meant to be released. The timing for that depends on what the situation is, what the actual thing is, right? Or who the person is or whatever. But it's like we as humans really struggle. We're fine with the catching. We're like, okay, this is coming in, yay. But then it's kind of like, failing to see that something has come to completion or needs to come to completion. So we hold on to it, we cling to it for fear of releasing it. But it's like, that's part of the universe. That's part of the flow, is the catch and the release. So I feel like this is going to be a time where it's like we need to clear the clutter. We at least need to become aware of what the clutter is. It's like if you are holding on to your clothes from high school and you're at your, midlife, why are you holding on to those if you don't have children who could potentially wear them, right? It's kind of like that being a pack mouse, right? And just being like, I'm going to hold on to this forever. That's not the way that the energy is meant to flow, okay? And so again, we all struggle sometimes with that release part. And I feel like this is going to be the time where we need to start looking more closely at what is cluttering up our life, what is cluttering up our plate, because we need to release that stuff so that the good stuff, the next chapter can begin, right? The next person, the next resource, the next, job, whatever the case is, the next experience, because our souls came here for this growth and this expansion and this experience in human form, right? But it's like we can't have all the experiences at once. So when it comes in, we experience it. When it's finished, we release it. So again, this is going to be that time where it's like where I talked about allowing something to fall away without interference, without that gripping. And I also want to mention too, at the end of the week, I see almost like not only this highlighting, where the clutter is, but this lull. And so, or like this becoming hyper aware of a lull in your life. And what I want to just mention is I really do believe that those lulls are opportunities to appreciate what we've achieved, right? It's kind of like you think about, we set a goal, right? And then we move towards that goal. And once we achieve that goal, there's meant to be a lull because you have everything that you need in that moment. And so you're not meant to continue to strive or achieve in that moment. You're meant to appreciate the lull, because that lull means that a big goal was achieved. So you're actually meant to enjoy the lull and, before you start focusing on the next thing that you want. And I think that as humans living in this overly masculine energy that's been with us for so many decades, we've gotten in that mode of constant action. And when there's a lull, we beat ourselves up for it or we shame ourselves. But we're meant to actually, when there's that lull, we're not meant to be achieving at that point. We're not meant to be in action. We're not meant to be striving. We're meant to take stock and appreciate and embrace and, lean into all that we've accomplished at that point. Because in that moment, during that lull, we have everything that we need. There's no need to continue to strive. When the time comes to strive once more, guess what? The inspiration will come in. The next task will come in. The next goal will come in. All right? So this is a journey with the universe, and the universe knows best. Our soul knows best. It is definitely in the driver's seat. So if things aren't happening for you right now and you're in a lull, take a look around. Do you have everything that you need in this moment? Are you meant to be enjoying this lull and embracing this lull? Maybe you're not meant to be striving right now, right? Maybe you're just meant to continue to do in a methodical way, which you've been doing, to continue to move forward, but not in a haste, not in a action oriented way, not in a striving way, but in a, oh, I'm in this lull, must be I have everything I need in this moment. Let me embrace this. Let me enjoy this moment. And then sort of ramp up or, get ready for the next time that things ramp up again. So interesting energies this week, but I think that what's highlighted for us is giving us an opportunity to lighten the load, to clear the clutter, to do what inspires us, and taking that inspired action in a way that leads us forward with, from within, where we're not looking to the external to make everything right for us, okay? And to appreciate all that we have achieved. So really beautiful energy this week, powerful energy. Anytime I see master, level energy coming in, I know that it's going to be a pretty intense week, but not in a bad way. Just in a way that's like really sort of pushing us back to our center and what allows our soul to sing, okay? And what's not sort of pulling us back. So I hope it's a beautiful week for you all. Happy April. I will see you all again soon. Take care. Bye for now.